Hello guys, it's Chum. Today I have a BakuTech review. A little bit different, so I actually have a BakuTech re-review. So I'm going to be re-reviewing a few things that I feel like were particularly bad reviews. So the first one I have here is the Jigen Deck, and yeah, also sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. I've just always said it that way, and that's just kind of how I've always said it. So yeah, anyway. So let's just get into this, just get into each Bakugan, talk a little bit about them. So first up we have this one here, which is Let's Go. So Let's Go, this thing looks like this. Pretty standard color design here. Opening it up. Again, not really that crazy. It's just kinda here. Has feet that fold up. And yeah, pretty standard. So we also have the G power, which is hard to see. Does not want to cooperate. 620. You can kind of probably just barely see that though. But yeah. So this thing's interesting. You got the feet and cross pieces. So you have soul pieces and cross pieces on this thing. So you can actually amp this thing to have 4 metal pieces if you want. That's pretty nice. I mean, this is not bad. So I will talk more about this competitively at the end of the video, as I usually do. But so far, you know, okay, you got something that can use 4 metal pieces. That's not terrible. So this thing, again, doesn't look that crazy. I mean, it looks okay. But yes, it's just kind of, it's alright, you know. Again, we'll go more into that in a moment. Next up, we have Englide. So here's Englide. Looks like this. Opening it up. Open up the wrong way, okay. So it does have these pieces. They kind of do what they want. I just put them up. And the feet, these are soul pieces actually. So there are no cross pieces on Englide, but it does get soul pieces, so that is nice. And yeah, this, I kind of wish it stood up a little bit more, but it doesn't, so it kind of just falls over like that. It looks kind of awkward. I feel like if this was up, you know, a little bit like this is a really cool design. This is a little bit awkward. Anyway, G power on this thing is 620. It is very thinly printed. Can that focus? Again, this really doesn't want to show up on the camera. But it's 620, you barely see it. Even in person, it's like pretty small. It's always been like that. So kind of the two side Bakugan in here are just 620Gs, nothing crazy. We'll talk more about this one, you know, again, as I go over the competitive stuff later. And now we have the main event. Jigen Dragaon. So yeah, this is a Bakugan. This is a something. So this is a little bit difficult to review because it has 4 modes. 2 of the modes are worthless and you probably should not use them. The other 2 modes are actually pretty good. So there's kind of this cross section up here where the modes are housed with switches. You can kind of see like one in there a little bit. You can see like a little bit of gold. This one also kind of see that maybe slightly in there. But how you change the mode is with this Jigen ring here. You probably use like anything to really change it that gets in there. Just something like thin like this. But yeah, you're supposed to put it on your finger. Not really working as well if you're an adult, but it works enough, and you kind of just, you know, use it to change the modes, and you can like get in there and like, you know, change the mode. I already have it in the mode I'm going to show it in, but like, yeah, it's just worth explaining that at least. So I will do some jumping around and stuff to show all of the modes, but yeah, let's just get the first two modes out of the way that you probably won't want to use. This is the first of them. This looks like something. There's no manual parts in this thing technically, but like this part doesn't always come out, so you just like flip it out. These parts, flip them open. Just kind of fixing it up basically, but this is a mode. It has, probably should not use it. Also, yes, this thing, I guess just to get it out of the way. It is 700 Gs. There you go. So, yeah, it's pretty good for G power. If you want a max potential Jigen Dragaon, you will want to use either the one from the Jigen Dragaon, from the Battlefield Kiwami set, or you can choose a darkest one and make a darkest Dragaon, because the one from the God 3 deck is darkest and 720 Gs. So both of those are viable. Pyrus or darkest 720. And the Jigen piece from the Friendship Bind set, because that is plus 30 Gs. Just because. So you can make a 750G Jigen Dragaon, but again, this is not this deck. I probably shouldn't go on about that, but yeah, just worth mentioning, at least. So, anyway, that's enough about that. Let's just get out the other, kind of worthless mode. Let's just do that, and then I will, this is like these parts are kind of weird. I wish they were a little bit more stable, honestly. They just aren't, but yeah, there you go. So let me just get the other worthless mode out of the way. I don't know if I should call it worthless, but they're not really that useful. It's just better to go all in, one or the other. So let's just get this other one out of the way. Alright, so next up we have kind of the other awkward mode. So you can do it. There you go. This one's probably not as bad, honestly. So yeah, you can see these wings really fold down a lot. We'll talk about that kind of usage and stuff in a bit, but yeah, this one's not like terrible, but again, it's like, honestly, you could use this. It's not that bad. I feel like the back piece, it doesn't matter as much for what you're going to do with it. It's mainly the front part that's like the main difference, but this one, it's a little bit more usable than the other, but like, I mean, again, I just say go one or the other. Not bad though, but still, you know, one or the other I would say. But yeah, so let's just actually go ahead and get into the two more common modes that you'll want to use, since, you know, again, they're, well, just more useful. Alright, now we have some fun and some actual stuff to talk about here. So let's just get into this. Defense mode. This is the defensive mode of the Bakugan. So, yeah. This is very strong for defense. And it looks awkward, but also kind of cool. I like how it just spreads out and is just everywhere. This part, I guess, if it like folds out, I mean, maybe like a crit KO in ball form, or if it falls off like down like enough, if the Bakugan's like your opponent's like the edge of the card, maybe it'll smack off a Bakugan. It's not that strong though. But the main reason you're using this is for the defense occupancy purpose. So as you could probably tell, this will take up a pretty significant amount of the card. That's how it is vertically. It's quite extensive. You can see this is at the edge of the card. This is at the edge of the card. Pretty big. Looking at this on a horizontal view, looks like this. So yeah, pretty crazy. So yeah, it's pretty defensive as well. I mean, it generally takes hits. Like, these wings actually help a ton. This thing really can take some hits. Might be the best. No, maybe not the best. I almost was going to say the best. Probably close to the best Pyrus defensive Bakugan. Jigen Rada, that might be better, but like, This thing's really good at defense, but also occupancy. This is probably the best Pyrus Bakugan for occupancy. So that's pretty nice. Defense and occupancy is pretty crazy on this thing, so that's why you'd want to use it. It's just good in general, so yeah. However, there is of course the one other mode, the kind of most common mode, so let's go ahead and show that off. Alright, so now we have the final mode. This is attack mode. And there we go, that's kind of the classic mode that I am used to seeing. So, opens up like this. These wings come up, they have a little bit of resistance behind them. I guess you can I don't think I'll knock anything off with them, but still. Again, you can have them down if you really want to for some extra occupancy. I still think attack, you might as well just have them up. I think it doesn't matter a whole lot. I just think for attack, everything kind of just comes upwards, and I think that kind of helps a little bit. But this head has a decent spring as well. This is a good attack point. Again, in ball form, you can still get some attacks off, but this thing comes up decently well. Overall, for attack, this thing is pretty crazy. Good Pyrus attacker. So, yeah. Now, taking a look at the deck as a whole. And kind of just everything. Okay, so I have some things to say. Actually, before I say competitive score, personal score, just for fun, how much do I like these Bakugan? I'm gonna be honest, this isn't my favorite deck. I'm going to give this probably an 8 out of 10. I think it's really good, but it's still not my favorite. I think Let's Go and Englide are solid, pretty cool. Nothing crazy, but they are cool. Jigen Dragaon is weird, because I think I like when its wings are down, but when they're up, it's kind of whatever. Although the head down is weird. I don't like that at all. Honestly, when I look at Rise Dragaon, I kind of wish they would have went more in that route. So that's why, it's still an 8 out of 10. I still like this thing a lot. It's just I still kind of would have preferred some other stuff, but it's still cool. Anyway. Competitive score. Okay, so Let's Go and Englide. So I'm going to amp these two. You can put metal on them. If you don't do that, Let's Go sucks. There isn't a whole lot to it. But if you do that, this thing, pretty fun to control. I think it just spins well. I guess rolls well. Not spin. Okay, I'm sorry, I've been doing too much with Beyblade recently. It rolls pretty well. I guess you can do spin shots if you want to as well, but 4 pieces of metal, this thing is a pretty solid shape, not too big or anything. Bulky enough to be okay at defense. And again, just having those 4 metal pieces, it just is a really, really solid Bakugan. And Glide, you give it those metal souls, adds some defense, already pretty good at defense anyway. Actually, this one needs metal the least between the two, but adding it on makes it even better. Good defense. Solid occupancy. Not really great for attack or anything, but for defense it's pretty good. These two work well together, I would say. And of course you have Jigen Dragaon. So its defense and occupancy for Pyrus, insane. For the defense mode, it's insane. Overall though, compared to other attributes when you're mixing and matching, it's still pretty good. It's still comparable to some other stuff. I would say it's still relative to some of the best options, but I still think that there's other Bakugan that are just better. I think one is you have Yodan Shafor or something is pretty crazy, or I don't know, Barry Beyond's good for defense, Jaibafudo's good for defense. Ozpress, kind of a crazy attacker, but still pretty huge. Good for occupancy. Nagadaj is giant. You have a lot of other options, and it kind of compares to them, but it definitely, in my opinion, does not exceed them. Now, attack mode, on the other hand, is a really good attacker. I still wouldn't say it beats out Sanzu Halibos or Gogaryu, but it's still really good. And can be comparable to some stuff that's below them, like Kachiagel or Windmill, which are, I guess those are 32mm Bakugan, but they still are really good attackers. But here's the thing, right? Here's why you'd want to consider this thing. You get both modes. You could switch it, mid game when you fold it back up. A couple of quick, like slashes, I guess, and you're good to go. You have the other mode. Being able to adapt to, whatever's going on, whether you want like really good attack or really good defense, that's kind of busted. And I think that also kind of synergizes well with the whole deck because you get a good attacker, a good defender, and then a Bakugan that can do either one. If you want to play more defensive, wall things out, you have two Bakugan that can do that. If you want to go more aggressive, you have two Bakugan that can do that. And because you kind of just get both options, it's really, really good, and that's kind of why you'd want to use it. So that's why, Jigen Dragaon's like a top tier Bakugan. It's no secret that this thing's crazy. And again, having, really good attacker and really good defender in one, not many other Bakugan do that. I think probably one of the most underrated Bakugan is Ozpress, because it's kind of crazy defensively, but also just escorts Bakugan off of a card, so it kind of does also have attack and defense going for it. But outside of that, there aren't really any other Bakugan, in my opinion, that do that, something like that to, this extent. This one's a mode changer, but that kind of still, it's the same idea, you have a lot going for it regardless. So yeah, now, but the deck as a whole, I think, well, obviously, I'm trying to be fair here because this isn't like a competitive deck, obviously. But as a deck, I'm gonna give this thing an 8 out of 10. I think it's a really good deck for a product, and it's pretty solid. Again, it synergizes well. You have a good attacker, at least like a solid attacker and a solid defender. They're not like crazy, but still they're solid Bakugan anyway. And then Jigen Dragaon is just insane. And can work well with either one of them. So you have again, like I already said, attack and defense and stuff. But yeah, 8 out of 10 competitively. I think it's a really, really good deck overall. So that's that. Before I go, I do want to mention I have 6 re-reviews planned. This is the first of them. So for these re-reviews, they're basically reviews that I just do not like at all that I've done and wanted to go back to these things and just revisit them to try and, make them better. Hopefully this was better than my original. I think I'm a lot more competent than I was back then. And some of my old ones I think were fine enough. I'll probably leave them for now. Maybe I'll do more of these in the future. But for now, 6 in particular. And hey, I'm doing them weekly, every Monday. All of November and the first, half of December. So that's fun. I won't spoil what they are. We'll get to them when we get to them, but, we got some stuff that should be fun to talk about. And yeah, also one last thing, I will have re-review in the title, but I will be removing the original videos from the playlist, not from YouTube, I'm keeping them up. I will remove them from my main playlist, though, of BakuTech reviews. And then at the end of the year, once we're into 2023, what I'm going to do is I will just rename these videos to just review, not re-review, and then I will put an indicator of, the old reviews being, old, and just treat these as the main ones, basically. So yeah, that's kind of my idea for it. And yeah, anyway, that's everything. That's everything for the deck, everything for kind of the announcement of some more re-reviews and whatnot. So yeah, anyway, that's all for this video. So thanks for watching, and bye-bye.